Okay, so since 20th January 2025, United States is in news. 47th President of America, Mr. Donald Trump, daily he is creating a news. May sometime he put a national guard into Los Angeles, and there is a right kind of situation. Violence happens, and especially between the Latin American people, they are a density in the Los Angeles and the National Guard because they consider themselves as the local people out there in the California, the Latin American people. In that fashion, the question is arising that what is America? People generally know America means United States of America. There is a country called United States of America. If anyone read the history of America, then he will read history of America as America was a colony of British people. British king, I believe some George or something like that, Mr. George, and he was the king of Britain in 16th century era. At that time, the people from Britain, they came to America, and there, first people who came from Europe to America were Spanish people, and then I believe the Columbus was a Spanish person, and he was a navigator, and he came to America, and the capital of United States is District of Columbia, DC, Washington District of Columbia. Miss Columbus was a person who came to this region, and he was in search of India. This is what I remember. Columbus started his navigation to search for India, and he heard that earth is round. If he goes from west also, he will hit India. And then he hit this land and he called it India. Right now, West Indies is a country, West India. So India. So he thought this is India. So the America western side and south side, that is also known, means more or less he hit Mexico region, and there he thought this is India. He was in search of India. So Spanish came prior to anyone else there. Anyway, said there Native Americans were living, and they had very prosperous culture out there, but they were in very less number. That was their problem. It's not that full America the way right now 330 million people live in America. At that time, 330 million Native Americans were living there, and European went and killed them. Native Americans were very few in number. In some regions, some 100,000, or in California region, it is called native, where they were maximum. California, Oregon, and Washington states, where they were maximum in the western part of America. They were merely, I believe, 100,000, 200, 300,000 in number only. They were sparse only, very sparse. More or less, America was uninhabited area. So in that fashion, Spanish went there first, and they established a country there called New Spain. New Spain. That kind of that has territory as Mexico and southwestern part of United States right now, including Texas, California, and western of Colorado states, Arizona and New Mexico, Utah, and Nevada. So these were called New Mexico, New Spain. They're British went. If one goes there and he is happy, the neighbor will also go there, considering it is very good area. Then British went there, and they started from the England side, that is north to Spain. Spain is south, England is north. So from there they started. They hit like New York kind of region. If they went shortcut way, and there they one region they occupied, and they divided into 13 colonies there, and they become 13 states in United States at the beginning. So United States is not a full region what we see in map. That was a British region and controlled by the and that became independent for the America. The America, United States of America, is thin eastern part of America, 13 colonies that were controlled by the Britain, and later they started expanding it. And I believe 1957 or something, Alaska is their 15th state. Otherwise, 1776 they become independent of the Britain. And then all 13 colony of Britain, they named it 13 states, and they called it United States, and they called it United States of America. Anyway, now lacking part is, if I say eastern part of United States were British colony, western southern part were Spanish colony, whatever other area of United States. Mainly two area is missing here. The central part of United States, that is Mississippi, Missouri River region. The basin of Mississippi, Missouri, that is completely missing. Neither it is Spanish nor it is British. Though Britishers were there in 13 colonies and Spanish were there in the southwestern part of the United States. The central part was missing. And then Oregon area, Oregon and Washington states, those areas were missing. Now the French people came, the third people who came there, thinking that they will also get something there. And it is called the King of the France. He ordered their navigator to find China, China. If Spanish people they started navigating to find India, then French people they started navigating, saying we are finding China, 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 and en route to the China, they hit the United States again, and primarily they hit Canada. In a way, they hit Quebec region. The eastern part of the Canada is Quebec. So Quebec they hit, and from Quebec and they came to central part of the United States, that is Mississippi, Missouri river system. That is very big region of America, and that is the alluvial soil is there. I have not seen personally. Cultivating area, this is what I have heard. That is also called Louisiana. Louisiana region of the America. Full Mississippi, Missouri region is called Louisiana. Mr. Louis was king, Louis 14th, I believe. He was king of the France at that time. In honor of Louis XIV, whatever the area French people occupied, the Mississippi, Missouri, the cultivating area, they called it Louisiana. So Louisiana en route connecting to the Quebec state of Canada, that region they controlled, and they said it as New France. So the eastern part of America, 13 colony, it became New England and Quebec of Quebec region. So if this this is this is United States, and this is Canada. This is United States and this is Canada. The eastern part of Canada, this is east and this is west. The eastern part of Canada is called Quebec. And if I say United States, the eastern part of the United States, there are 13 states. This is British colony. Now, this Quebec part connecting to the central part of America, this is central part of America. Missouri River, Mississippi River, they combine here and go and they fall in Gulf of Mexico. This central part connecting the Quebec region of Canada, eastern part, that become New France. This become New England, and western part of United States. This is California, Nevada, Utah, and western part of Colorado state. And then Wyoming, I'm sorry, and then New Mexico, Arizona, Texas. So this become New Spain connecting Mexico. This called New Spain. The north part, that is Oregon, and the Washington state, that were Oregon state. Primarily the Native American they used to live there. Okay, between the France and England there was an unclaimed territory also. More or less, United States were in four parts: New England, New France, okay, five part. New England, some unclaimed part, very little, negligible. People say that it was part of Russia. Anyway, okay, and then New France, and then Oregon country, and then New Spain. Okay, we are talking about New France area. What are the New France area and how they become United States of America? Okay, so little bit data I could collect. It's not that I have very comprehensive data. Okay, so if I talk about New France region of the United States, then 1682, 1521, then Spanish people came to the America. 1607, British people came to the eastern part of America. So western and eastern part were taken away. And then 1682, 1521 Spanish, 1607, 1607, British people came. 1682, there was a French navigator called called Rene Robert Cavalier. Mr. Rene Robert Cavalier. He came there, and there he saw that central part is missing. No one is controlling it. Then he went to the mouth of Mississippi River, where it meets the Gulf of Mexico. There he put one cross there on the ground and said, all the Mississippi region belongs to France now. Means there was no one living there. I won't say they defeated Red Indian and killed them. There was no one living there. It was completely uninhabited area. So they said that this is full Mississippi. When Mississippi is meeting the ocean, and there he put the cross, then behind it, full Mississippi, Missouri region is the French region, en route connecting the Quebec region. So that is the so they boasting that it is the New France region in United States. It is spread from the Rocky Mountain to the Colorado state. Western part of the Rocky Mountain is Spain. Eastern part I have personally seen, and it is beautiful like heaven. Very beautiful, amazingly beautiful Colorado state. Anyway, Rocky Mountain, that is western part of the New France, and eastern part is Appalachian Mountain. I believe that would be near to the kind of uh, uh, New York or somewhere. Okay, and then north, then south, it is Gulf of Mexico, where the Mississippi River meets, and north it is Great Lakes, that is the adjoining region of the Canada and America. That is the uh, Montreal state of the Canada, southward. Okay, Chicago region. Anyway, now this is the scenario. Okay, 1660, 1660, the king of France, he had ordered that that someone has to go and search for the China, so that they can start trade with the China, and they can convert Chinese people into the Catholics. So this is what the aim was. Anyway, en route to China, they hit the Canada and United States. Anyway, so from the 1682, more or less, they controlled the region, and they called it New France. New France region, earlier days, it was controlled through the Quebec of Canada. The Quebec of Canada, there from there they were controlling the New France region. Okay, and in the kind of uh, okay, where I have put, I don't remember, and I believe in 17 some era that I could not put looks like. So earlier it was part of Quebec region, that is New France region. Later they carved out a new region and they called it Louisiana in the name of Louis King, who had ordered going to China. En route to China, they found the New France region. So that region they called it Louisiana or New France. So Louisiana is a region. Now that later they divided Louisiana into many territories. Territories are Missouri region, Upper Mississippi region, Lower Mississippi region, Arkansas region. Arkansas is a river that is also called Red River. Then Tennessee is a river, and northwest. So northwest is Missouri, upper side is Upper Mississippi, northeast is Ohio, and then south is Tennessee, and then south where it meeting the Gulf of Mexico, and there it is Lower Mississippi, and southwest is Arkansas. So they divided into this. Anyway, there was a treaty between England and France, 1763, and in that treaty, France handed over more or less control over that region to Britain. Anyway, and then in 1800, France controlled back the Louisiana region to some extent. And in 1803, only after 3 years, they sold it back to a new country called United States of America. Right now, what are the states that come under New France in America? Now, it is many states they have made out of it. The main state that those are Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, part of Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, and Ohio. So these are the states now. Those were earlier controlled by the French people and the Quebec region of Canada. So looks like the path for Mr. Donald Trump is not that straightforward. Means more or less, I was reading here and there. One time there were 1 million people. They started with, I believe, few hundred in the French, New France area of America. Few hundred people were living in the 1680, 16 and 1680, 1690 time frame. Few hundred people. Later, they brought African also to work in the Mississippi, Missouri agricultural field. And one time it became 1 million people were living this, 10 lakhs people were living this. So there is a high chance that that area is French dominated area. If the California region is Spanish dominated area, then that central region is a French dominated area. Anyway, means looks like it is not that straightforward the United States is. Means various part of Europeans, they are in domination in different part of United States. Anyway, this is how it is.